everybody, and welcome back to another 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got my awesome, awesome, awesome special guest who's never been on any of the shows before, but she's on this one now. And I guess yeah, everybody's coming in right there.
Uh,
Um,
that's the hubs.
all right. Please welcome Amielynn Woodall. How you doing, Amielynn?
I'm doing great. How are you?
It's a great way to start, I guess. So here we go. We're gonna be talking about Among Friends, which I believe you'd never heard of
No,
before.
oh no, not at all. I went looking for it, like to see if I could find it on. I forgot what streaming network it was, but they had 50 million of them, but didn't have that one.
Right.
And then when I found it, and oh my lord, dude, I was not
Yeah, I think
expecting
it's on Tubi and it's on
Tubi and
Plex.
Plex. Yeah,
And
I just
Tubi, for some reason, you said wasn't working for you or something.
no, I actually ended up getting it to work. I couldn't get it to work on my TV, so I just came in here and watched it on my computer.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's on Plex as well, which
Mhm.
I mean that's kind of cool that it's on both. Um, I think we're trying to get some of our projects on on the different ones. But this is her Danielle Harris's like directorial feature debut. She had done a short film called Prank before. And unfortunately, I have not seen that available
I
or
haven't
anything.
either.
I know Anthony Massey, who's a friend of mine on Facebook, produced it. And I've talked to him about it. I think there's just something to do with like rights and issues and different things, and it just hasn't come out. But this one, Among Friends, is out and it's available on Lionsgate for a DVD. I watched the DVD, so I have the DVD of it. So I figured why not? And it comes with like commentary. Let me show you the DVD. Uh, so the DVD right here, on the back, it's actually got feature-length commentary with Danielle, actors Jennifer Blanc and AJ Bowen. Um, so I don't know if you've noticed do you know who Jennifer Blanc is? Are you familiar with her?
I then I mean, the name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
So she's Michael Bean's wife. So she's Jennifer Blanc Bean, but she goes by Jennifer Blanc because that's how she got started and that's how she's sort of remembered by. She's been in a lot of stuff. I remember her from being in Saved by the Bell, and whatnot. And she was the one who played Melanie in the movie. So she was the one girl that didn't want to get, you know, hurt or anything, kept
Yeah, my least favorite character is the whole thing.
yeah, well, it's just I think that was the point, was that her character was
Yeah,
supposed to be sort of the worst character, like kind
yeah,
of this obnoxious.
yeah,
And yeah, she ends up like you find out she ended up like sleeping and having like I think she was the one who had the three-way, if I'm right,
mhm.
of it and
Yeah. She
stuff.
she was one that had the three-way with what was it, Adam and
Yes. Marcus,
the
was
other
it?
lady's husband
Yeah.
or boyfriend. Not
Yeah, I'm
sure.
gonna bring up the names of all the characters so we can and the people who played them. So, first off, we've got Alyssa Lobit, who played your favorite character, Bernadette.
I love her.
Yeah, you were saying that's like a dream role right there for you.
Yes, just to be a Bernadette in this world nowadays, man.
It's a very
Yes.
strong female-driven character, and it's a strong female-driven story. Um, it seems so funny that it felt so Me Too before Me Too. And
Mhm.
I kind of like that. Like it was sort of like this was like right before, like I think Me Too was like 2015 or 16, something like that, maybe 16. And that whole thing that the whole stuff blew up like that. And this was before it, but this was like a whole like, hey, we're gonna get revenge on all the people who sort of, fucked up badly like that, with rape and cheating and all that other fun stuff. So then Jennifer Blanc being plays your least favorite character, Melanie, who you said, but that like I think she did a great job,
She
you
did
know.
a great job at it, and she did a very good job at making that character not likable.
Yeah. And
So,
I think most of these characters were not supposed to be likable, you know? When I was watching it, I was like thinking, okay, so what they wanted to do was make it so you really, you didn't feel sorry for them once this stuff happened,
oh no, I mean, like I was all, all about Jules up until it got to that certain scene. Then I'm like, oh man, girl, now
Even
I can't
her,
like you.
right?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
now I can't even like you.
I know, right? Like she was doing so good. I agree. And we can spoil, by the way. So if you feel like, yeah, you want to say something, you can say whatever you want because this movie's been out. It's on Tubi. If people want to see it, they can see it on Tubi.
Yeah,
What?
I'm just not buying the fact that what she didn't stop from happening to Lily
Right.
wasn't didn't happen to her. I'm not buying that at all.
You don't buy that she actually
No,
wouldn't have
not.
said anything,
Well,
or
no, I meant the fact that she hadn't been assaulted
oh,
because of the way she said it,
oh, so maybe she had been assaulted, and so
and
she
then
was
she
sort
just
of
froze.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah, just think about the way she said no, never, or whatever, how she responded when they asked her had that been happened to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, hmm.
Well, she's probably been assaulted. She's probably been, you know,
And she
most
just
of
froze.
it's sad how many women have been, in some way or another, you know. But then let's see, Kamala Jones plays Sarah. Sarah was the girl who
Got
uh
scalped.
what?
Got
No, no,
scalped.
no, that was
No,
Lily.
that wasn't her.
That was
Lily
Lily.
wasn't. Lily was the one that had the abortion.
Right. So
Right,
who's
and
the other one?
Sarah was the one that had the blonde hair that was crimped
Yeah.
that got scalped.
Oh, scalped. I thought you said passed out. I was like,
No, no,
for a
no,
second, I
no.
thought I heard that. I don't know. I was
I
like,
have a
wait.
very strong Southern accent.
I
So,
know, but I like for some reason I really literally thought that. But anyway,
no,
no, scalped. Yes, she
no.
got scalped, which was pretty fucked up. And we'll get to that in a second. Yes, you're right. And then AJ Bowen plays Adam, and that was the guy with the beard, you know.
Hmm.
And I honestly love AJ Bowen. Like he's one of my
Oh, he did a
favorite.
great job with that character, and
Is
again, I
yeah,
loved his character up until I saw that scene.
yeah,
Like he
yeah.
did just a fantastic job.
Yeah, up until that scene, then you don't like the
Hmm.
character. That is
Yes.
exactly kind of what this movie is all about. Like, there's, you kind of like the characters at first. You're like, oh, these guys are cool, whatever, nice guys, whatever. And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, bam, they do something that really makes you just go, you know what? I hope his balls get cut off or whatever, like you don't care anymore
That's
after that,
honestly what I was thinking.
right? Um,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's true because this movie started out so great. They're all going to this theme party. Best
you said
decade
it felt
ever.
80s.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it was wonderful, and I just love the way it started out. They're all so tight, so happy, and then they get to this dinner, and it's like, oh my god,
yep. It's
what's
like
wrong with these people?
these people are terrible people because
Mhm.
what I think a big theme of it is in the movie is like that you don't truly know people, we all have skeletons in our closets that we hide and we don't share with people stories, things. I see a lot of movies do this more and more now, and I love it, like horror films where they expose people's dark secrets and stuff like that, things that people don't want to tell them. I mean, when somebody says stuff like, be honest and tell the truth and everything, you're hiding something, don't hide it because the truth will eventually be revealed,
Oh yeah.
like, so then so Jules was played by Brianne Davis.
I mean, she was fantastic through the
Yeah,
whole.
she was great. I loved her. Christopher Backus played Marcus, and Lily was played by Dana Dory. Now I've seen her before, like I don't know if it's just her look
Well, she
or her
looks
acting,
familiar, but
whatever.
I can't. She looks familiar. I just can't think of where I
She's been in
saw
a
her.
lot of stuff. She's a very big Hollywood actress. Like she was on an episode of The Neighborhood, which is a big show, and she was in that movie Stan the Man. I think that was um yeah, yeah, she's just been in a bunch of different things. So um American Horror Story, different things. So she's been around doing stuff, you know. And then Chris Meyer played Blaine, you know. The other, so there was Blaine and there was Marcus. And
Is
I
Marcus one
mean,
that got his fingers cut off?
yes, I believe so.
Okay. And then Blaine was the one who got his eyebrow just
Yeah, eyebrow cut off.
okay. Oh,
Like,
that was the scene
everybody
that
gets
got me.
like,
That
what?
was the scene that got me the worst.
Really? You don't
Yes.
want like your eyebrows like
Oh well,
scalped off?
I'm sitting there, I'm just going, and I'm sitting here doing this whole thing, just like, ah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Oh
handled the
man.
scalping, but that eyebrow thing, I was done.
Well, you know what the worst part about this is like they were coming to a party, right? For a friend, they thought, you know, and they really
Well,
walked into something that was way worse than that.
yeah.
That's sort of the scariest thing about this is that like anybody sort of could do this. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah,
it,
anybody's capable of anything at any given moment.
yeah. So it's just a scary sort of I don't know thing, you know? Like and then Kane Hodder played
Oh
the
my
limo
God,
driver.
yes. When he
Yes.
just precious with that dancing, I loved it.
He was amazing.
I loved it.
It was so funny because like everybody's like if you know Cade, like if you've met him, I've met him a few times and he's super sweet and super nice. And so is Danielle. Both of them are really, really cool. I've actually met them both at Texas Frightmare weekend in was it 2010. So uh and Kane was just one of the nicest guys, would chat with me all the, the whole time or whatever. And then I've seen him, he's seen me through dark days too, which is at conventions too. And so like
Wow.
it's interesting because he's such a great, great guy. And we actually, share an anniversary. I'm gonna tell this. I've been sober since 2013, July 13th. And July 13th was his anniversary of when he got burned. It was like 1980 something, but he got really badly burned, almost died. And thankfully he didn't. And thankfully it kind of taught him how to handle things better and to appreciate life. And he did a whole documentary on it. And it's amazing. So if you ever guys ever get a chance to see it, it's just a really uplifting story. I think it's like the Kane Hodder story or something like that, or it's got a name to it. But it is just amazing. And he's in the Hatchet movies and Friday,
Oh yes, I've
Jason.
seen them all. I've
Yeah,
seen them
he's
all.
in Jason, and he's just really one of those guys that he's just really nice, you know.
Yeah, he's like
And
what everybody has those celebrities that they want to meet.
oh,
He's my
you want to
number
meet?
one. He's my
Yeah.
number one.
Well, you should definitely go to some conventions. He's pretty much always there at different conventions, you know. So if you get a chance to go to a horror convention, go see Kane Hodder's table, and he'll take a picture trying to choke you out or something, you know.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
always
That'd be awesome, man.
you're right. I love wearing my like Camp Crystal Lake counselor shirts and stuff, you know.
Kind of
Um,
tease, kind of goading it on and teasing, like,
yeah, exactly. So then let's see. And everybody else were like there's a bunch of actors and actresses and different people in there's a really fun kind of drugged out flash, kind of
yes.
like
Danielle
scene.
showed up.
Daniel and her Halloween
Cloud, yes,
clown costume and stuff.
yes.
So that was really cool. And so there's a scene with a bunch of people and a lot of people she's worked with and friends with and stuff. Eric Preston, who was in Halloween 4 as well. He was like a key PA in it and stuff. I met him. He's really nice. So there's a lot of people that worked on that project and stuff, and it was just really cool, like to see. So if you're a big Halloween fan, I'm sure you probably hopefully already seen this movie because, obviously it's Danielle's baby, you know.
Yes.
Um, so I guess the story of it really is just she invites, Bernadette invites a bunch of her friends to come for a murder mystery 80s themed party, and basically paralyzes them so they from the waist down so they can't go anywhere, and then ends up basically showing them clips, of the things that they've done that she's caught on tape, which is kind of creepy, you know.
It was yeah, it was very
Yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I mean,
But it
there
is,
was
and all of that happened in her house, so she has every right to have cameras wherever she wants.
right, and she even says that, like, they're like, "Oh my God, how are we supposed to know you had cameras?" And like, you could have asked.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you these things. If you asked me, I would have to tell you it's there, whatever. So they could have, but they didn't, of course, because well, I think I think it was Jennifer Blanc's character said, like, why would we have thought to ask you like that? Like, that's not something friends feel like they have to do. But she, so even in the bathroom, they like caught like this stuff in the bathroom. Like,
Yeah, that one was one that
that's
had the
so,
most creep factor for me.
I
I
know, because
mean,
like that was the rape scene, right? It was in the bathroom,
right,
I
right,
believe.
but it wasn't like pointed at the shower or the toilet. It was just like pointed at the bathroom door with the mirror. But still, the
Right.
fact that she had a camera in her bathroom, like she
Yeah.
knew something was. No.
No. Like, yeah. I mean, wh- that would just literally mean you have to put a camera in every one of your homes. And then I remember in the beginning they talked about how she was gonna move or something
Yeah,
because she
that's
didn't
why
like.
she was having them over because she was just like she couldn't stand the people and she was couldn't wait to get out of there.
So she was gonna move. That was a nice house with like. I think she was gonna move because she was planning to murder these people and they didn't want
Yeah,
to. She didn't want to be sticking
but
around that house.
what the reason she was doing that, she said, like they said, was because she said she couldn't stand the people or she didn't like them. I mean, she wasn't lying. She couldn't stand any of those people.
She couldn't stand anybody. It
No.
insane. But her neighbors, man, maybe she's killed some people before. I don't know.
Well, you remember what she fed them for dinner? Did you catch
What?
that? That
No.
plate of meat. Did you hear what she said it was?
What?
They asked her what it was, and she finally, when she told them, it was a guy who touched his daughter way too much.
I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Where-
I think it was after, because they were questioning it, like when she started cutting Marcus's fingers off,
Oh, okay.
something, and they were like, okay, for me to answer, you got to give me something. And at some point in time, then she turned around and told them it was just, don't worry about it. It was just a guy who touched his daughter way too much.
So it was such a sort of messed up situation
Mm-hmm.
where she would say, like, you can ask me a question, but in order for me to answer, you have to give me
To give me
something.
something.
And so she would cut off like
The
fingers
scalping.
or scalping, which she said she was going to do a haircut. No, no. That should have been, if the lawyer were there, they could have lawyered her and said, really literally, no, that's not, you've lost the game, because you can't scalp somebody without saying you're going to scalp them, not that you're going to cut their hair off.
Well, she didn't specify how short of a haircut she was going to give her.
The forehead short.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I mean it was gory.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of blood. Whoever did the special effects, I didn't look at that, but whoever did the special effects did a fantastic job.
Yep.
I was kind of creeped out at times. Um, the thing is, I guess most horror films these days don't scare me, like
See,
nothing
but
really.
they don't really like. It takes a lot to scare me. Like I'll get that factor, like with the eyebrow thing.
Right.
But like to like legitly scare me, I hadn't had one movie in years to scare me.
Yeah, I
A
agree.
long time. And it wasn't anything to do with what happened to humans. It was Jack Black's version of King Kong when they were on that island and they were going down in that little swamp valley area and these massive sized crickets come out.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
don't like.
I went over the back of my left seat. I mean, I jumped, I was gone.
I would agree with that because I do not like
But
crickets, and
yeah,
if
like this kind of like horror slasher, whatever. I haven't had one scare me in years.
I was doing one of those like haunted houses the other day, this weekend, and I was just like walking around and people were jumping out at me and stuff. And I was just like, hello, like
Hey, how you,
it
like, how
didn't
you
faze
doing?
me. And then I thought maybe it was because like my friend was in front of me or I was like in the back or whatever during the house haunted houses. So I went to the front and it still didn't work. Like nothing scared me up until the end. The last one, I got a few jumps and I was in the back that time and I was happy, but
Well, I think like for that, it's not. It's being in the horror genre, we know what it takes to make a film, and so we know how they did it, and
right,
it kind of takes that magical, not magical, I guess, but it just takes
right.
that ability away for me to be scared
Yeah, it's that,
because
and it's also like, yeah, so we're like desensitized from it
yeah,
a little bit
exactly,
because
exactly.
where we watch it like normal people who don't watch horror all the time, that's not their favorite genre or whatever, or they don't make horror, they don't have that, like they would be scared of that stuff, I know people are terrified of clowns. I don't get it.
That is the only thing.
What, clowns? Clowns get you?
Oh God, that is the only thing like going to man shouldn't. Just something about that people with that much stuff on their face, and then they get so close, like with the children thing, and then the
Right?
whole John Wayne Gacy, and just clowns are nasty.
Really?
They're nasty.
I don't find them terrifying. Like, I
They're
mean,
not terrible. It's not necessarily that I'm scared. I just find them gross,
gross. Yeah.
gross, and they're nasty, and just oh,
Well, the problem with like clown things is that you're a parent
mm-hmm.
and, and a
And a
grandparent
grandma.
and
Yep.
so you are very protective of your children.
Oh,
When
without
it
a
comes to clowns, those are supposed to be your safe things, right? They're supposed to make the people laugh, be enjoyable. So when a clown is like, around children and isn't good, you know, that's not necessarily a good thing for, you know what I mean? Like parents need to be protective of that, kind of thing. So
yeah. So it's
like
like
John
that.
Wayne Gacy didn't help and Pennywise and
But see,
all of
here's the
that
thing:
stuff.
the original Pennywise, the Jim Curry version, to this day still creeps me out.
You know what?
But
I need to rewatch that.
The Bill Skarsgård version, I absolutely thought he was adorable.
Well, I mean, I guess he
I don't
probably is
know.
adorable without the makeup too, so it kind
I
of
don't know why, because this movie was, if not creepier, I think, but just overall, the clown itself didn't scare me. Like,
right.
but Tim Curry's Pennywise, I'm just like, nope.
I think it's because I don't recognize Tim Curry in it, but I do recognize Bill Skarsgård in it,
Yeah.
like the makeup isn't completely like, but in Pennywise in the original is terrifying because because you scrape away, it almost feels like you scrape away Tim Curry. Like it doesn't even feel
Mhm.
like he's in there. It feels like there's this demon clown named Pennywise. The
And
other
I'm
one, I feel like I look at it, I do sort of see Bill Skarsgård. I see
yeah, and I'm a
Skarsgård in it.
massive Tim Curry fan, like massive. But
Sadly, I did see him at a convention too, but it was like recently, and he's sort of not in the
yeah,
best, the best of shapes at this time.
yeah.
But I love him, and I'll always watch Clue and Home Alone 2 and all of that stuff that he's been in.
Annie,
Um, he was in the original Annie, wasn't he?
he was Rooster.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that. Since I was a kid, basically. I haven't watched it as an adult. I don't know why. I guess it just wasn't, hasn't happened yet. But that's cool. I definitely have to rewatch that to see him. To go back to this movie though, Among Friends. Um, so they end up dealing with this stuff, and then what's her name? Lily who was we seen in the tub the whole time, pretty much before and then like a surveillance camera stuff. She gets out, she breaks out, and she basically, I guess, chokes what's her name? Bernadette.
Mm-hmm.
But
Unconscious.
until she unconscious, but she's still alive, and they don't kill her.
No, my thing
Um,
was, so with that scene, that was the only scene that like my uh continuity, my crew brain, from it was like how she was near death. Like she would not have been strong enough to do that.
Right.
So that's where my, like, because I work both sides of the camera. So like I'm sitting here thinking, okay, how why? I mean, I think they should have taken her out another way.
Yeah, they should have had like a some kind of like metal bar or something knock her out. Just knock her out. That's all you
Mm-hmm.
need to do. And
Yeah.
um, and then, they're like, "Oh my God, she's gonna wake up, help us out." And that scene sort of
Oh, that scene made me mad. Like legit, I was like, what the heck? She's
taking her fucking time. She's like, but I'm also thinking like
well, it's
how scary it would be to be in that situation where where you don't know when this chick's gonna wake up, and you have like so much of a time to like get everybody free and you find the hammer and unhook the girl, and you know what I mean, and
they
do
were
all these
being
things.
jerks though. They were being jerks to Lily. It's like what
They
the
were
heck?
like, they kept talking to her. And remember, there's like one line where she was just like, they would have survived had they just listened to her when she
Mm-hmm.
said, "Are we really getting into this right now?" If they had just said, "No, no, 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 never mind, just let's get out of here, then we can talk about it." But the thing
They were
is,
being
they
horrible.
are total assholes. And they
Yes.
had to be assholes to her in order for her to finally say, screw it, you guys are assholes. I'm leaving. She can kill you. Bam. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she does. She finally realizes like when uh was it Julie? Was it
Jules.
her? Jules. Jules is sort of like, tells her she walked in and saw,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't do anything for the rape. I don't know what did she do? Did she turn around and walk back? I don't remember.
She Lily or when Jules
No,
saw
Jules.
she walked up to the bathroom door and heard everything going on inside the bathroom
Right.
and just kind of turned around and walked away.
Okay. I don't remember. I
She
didn't
no, you
remember
could see
that,
it
but
registered on her face. She knew what was happening. She just chose not to do anything about it.
yeah, I remember hearing that and I was like, oh shit, did I miss something? Because I think, yeah, I did miss that like thing. I don't know why, but I just, so yeah, so she turns around, leaves, and so, um, so that's exactly what Lily did. Turns around and leaves,
Yep.
says, you guys are assholes. You guys deserve this. I'm out of here. And she leaves. So she survives. Bernadette wakes up, and so one thing I've been seeing on like reviews is everybody complaining about there's no ending. And I disagree. I think
I think it ended perfectly.
right. They're all mad, like, "Oh, there's no ending." I'm like, what do you
Yeah,
want? Do
there
you
is.
want to see everybody get killed? Like, there obviously that's what happened, you know? We don't need to see that. We don't need to see anything more than that. I I got furious at one guy's review because I just don't like this guy when he reviews stuff on Letterboxd, and he was just nasty about the movie, and I was just like, you know what? Screw your like, like thing because this dude's never made a movie, you know? Like that's my least favorite thing is where people have never made movies or never had anything
Are
to
the
do with
most
movies
critical.
are the most critical about
Mhm.
the movies, and then they don't know like you know like A, what it takes, and B, how you know like how hard it is to do something that good. Like honestly, Among Friends I think is really good.
Oh yeah.
um I was very surprised. I know my co-host for Indie Film Cafe, Paul, would hate it because it's torture porn, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like seeing pretty girls get cut up. He just thinks it's usually like the guys doing it to girls. So this being a role reversal is kind of an interesting thing.
And that's what made that movie so good.
Right.
Was that it
Like
was
you
a
just love Bernadette and how
yes.
evil she was. But yeah, she looked like she was having fun. She also wrote it. So Alyssa Lobet also wrote the film, and she was that like she gave herself like the role probably that she'd always wanted to play, right? and to have Danielle Harris direct it, for her directorial debut. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I really dug it. I'm glad you dug it
Oh, I
because
loved it. What'd you think about whenever Sarah was like, what did I do to deserve it?" From
right.
Bernadette's response,
What was her response? It was like she
"You introduced me to
yeah,
these."
you introduced me to them. Right. Yeah. Um so she says, what did I do to deserve this? And because literally, she didn't do anything. She didn't deserve to be, she was the one scalped,
Mhm.
right? So she didn't deserve to be scalped.
No.
She didn't deserve any of this crap, except that she introduced the people. Like, that's fucked up. How do you, how do you
But
know
wasn't she the one with Jules on the couch though?
that's true? But
But even then, still, that wasn't anything to deserve what happened to her.
exactly,
And the fact that she took the punishment that should have been for Melanie.
exactly. So she actually says that you're a true friend, you
Mhm.
know? And I mean, I'm surprised. Well, she couldn't let anybody live, by the way.
Oh no, you can't. You just can't.
Yeah, I
That's like
mean,
murder 101. Nobody survives.
yeah, 'cause if they if she had killed all the other people and like let one of them go, they just go to the police and she'd be fucked. So no
Right.
matter what, she's not, unless she screws up some badly, like say it ended with Lily actually saving everybody. But I think we would have been mad if Lily saved everybody.
Especially the way they were treating her.
Yeah, yeah, I mean that would have shown how nice Lily is, but um now Lily was having an abortion because of
Was
it
that
was
baby
Adam, I think.
was it the baby the product of the rape? Is that why
I
she was
think
aborting it?
so. Think so. There was never they
There was
didn't I
never
don't think they ever
clarification.
said that like out loud, right? Because I don't remember
Yeah, they
that.
never said. I don't
But
remember it either. So
yeah, so it could have been anybody that she did that, but I was thinking it must have been the rape, you know, which would have meant that I don't know, wouldn't that have meant that they all
because
hook
they
up
yeah because
like,
the female friends were all more concerned about why didn't you tell me da 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 da, and it's like
yeah. Well, there you go. That's why, you know.
yeah she just couldn't. She told
Yeah,
the person who was the therapist who knew that would keep her secret, or so she thought.
so she thought. That was
Mm-hmm.
the most messed up part is that she went to somebody she thought she could trust,
Mm-hmm.
and that happened to like spawn this whole, you
And then the
know,
doctor, what was up letting Lily bleed to death in the tub?
I don't
I
like what
never
did
got
Lily
that.
do?
Yeah, I never got that. She was bleeding because of the abortion, but she never. That part was never clear. I don't remember them clarifying on why she was doing that to her.
Yeah, because she wasn't. I don't understand why. Like, I mean, she wasn't mad. Like, yeah, she didn't do anything, as far as I know, other than getting raped, which isn't
That wasn't her fault.
yeah, that wasn't obviously that wasn't her fault.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what, what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
never
right.
got that. Yeah, I don't remember them saying in it.
Yeah, which I guess that's my only biggest problem with the movie. I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's just like why did Lily
And they
I
may have.
understand
I
everybody
wonder.
else, and if she weren't there, you know, um, she could have still used the video of Lily, being raped and everything and stuff, and and all of that would never have happened if she had just not brought Lily to this house. But then again, I mean, it didn't really matter because once Lily found out all that stuff, she just kind of walked away, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, it was that part because I'm gonna rewatch it probably later on tonight just to see if they did say why she left Lily in the tub because don't remember. But that was what I had a problem. That and then how Lily was strong enough after all that bleeding to choke out Bernadette. It's just not believable.
Yeah. That was a problem. I wonder if they address anything in like the commentary, about some of that stuff. Um, well, I was listening to a few bits of the commentary and I didn't want to listen to the whole thing and do the review because the problem I get is like I get, I'll start repeating a bunch of different stuff I heard in the commentary, and then I feel like I'm believing it. Like commentary is something that somebody should go and buy, and hear or whatever. But I will say one thing I learned, which was that obviously, if you've n never heard anything about like Kane Hodder, he is a very big prankster, you know. So uh, he was doing a thing like there's I guess a spray that you can use called Pump a Dump, and
Oh
it makes
God.
you yeah, it makes it smell like poo and everything. And he was spraying some of the cast members with it. And but that's how he is. Like I've heard millions of pranks that he's done on sets, and I love it. Like I would love to work with him
Oh
just to
my
see
gosh,
what
yes.
prank he would play on some of the people.
Like I said, everybody has those celebrities, and he's my number one I want to work with.
He's done a few serial killer ones too, where he got to act and stuff. Like I think he did Ed Gein, he did BTK and a few other things. So he's one of those guys that I truly, as a filmmaker, also like would love to work with, would just die to work with him. But it hasn't happened yet. I mean, he's obviously a little bit more out of my price range at this rate right now. But one day, I plan to work with him because we've talked about it. It's out of it just budget wise, would have to happen,
Yeah.
you know. But he's a really cool guy. Danielle, I would love to work with too, and
Oh my
if
gosh,
I had
yes.
budget, she seems like a really sweet. I know she's one of those people that will give you like 100%. And I feel like she did that with the directing. Um, and I thought she did a really good job with the direction. Like some of the shots that were used in the beginning, especially where it was like quick shots and everything, you know, done to like upbeat music was amazing, you know. Um, so what was your favorite part?
Of the movie,
Yeah.
the castration.
What?
The castration scene because he deserved it.
That was pretty.
He deserved it. I mean, for
I
that
just
fact, just for all those people getting what they deserve, that was my favorite.
It was just so funny
But
that
but overall, though, the fact that it started out with that '80s vibe that I love, and that Kane Hodder was in it. Ah,
yeah.
then have him dancing. I mean, come on.
He was dancing
I love that.
and
Yes.
he was cursing up a storm, saying
Right.
some really fucked up things, or whatever.
That's
Like,
all. That was funny as heck. They're getting. I mean, he's making commentary about every single one of them as they're getting in that
yeah,
jumbo.
he's like, that girl could suck a
Yeah.
real dick. And then
Yeah.
the guy walks out and is like, I bet he can too. And I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, I was excited when I saw him that he was the limo driver, and then he starts saying all that, and I'm like,
Yeah, I think that's the exact reaction that people have when they actually know Kane from like the movies, because really we know Kane as Jason, we know him as Victor Crowley, we know him as, those things, and he doesn't really get a lot of time to play like actors who have lines and do stuff. I mean, um, I always love seeing him pop up. He one of my favorite movies of all time is this movie called Grind, and it's a skateboard movie. And he shows up as like the father of this girl who he's basically gonna come beat this guy's ass, and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I told my father, blah blah blah. And he was like, you told your dad, right? And then she was like, hey, here he is, hey dad. And he shows up with like a crowbar,
and it's
and
called
and it,
Grind.
what? It's called Grind. It's hilarious.
What is it on a streaming network or?
I don't know. I own it, so I have no idea.
I'm gonna have to look
Maybe.
that
I
up
hope
too.
so. It should be, if it's not, but it is one of the funniest movies ever. It's a skateboard movie. It's about a bunch of friends who go on a cross road trip to all these different skating things. So, to
Chances
try
are
to
I might. How old is it?
2008. 2007, something like that.
See, I may have seen it, but
You
I
may
don't
have.
remember.
I don't know. It's a little older. I'm only I it's one of my favorite movies, and I watch it all the time. Maybe it's 2004. It's like old, older, but it had the chick from what's it, Once Upon a Time in it, and tons of different stuff. So different people. It's great. And the guy from, oh, it must have been 2004. It's like right before like the dude's in the OC, I think, or so. When the guys is in the OC, so is in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm just saying,
yeah, I'm
things.
thinking, I'm like, oh, no, I don't think I
Yeah,
ever watched that episode.
yeah, it's not. It's not for everybody, and I don't think I may have watched like one episode, like the pilot or something, just to see it, but I don't really
Yeah,
remember like,
I just don't watch hardly any reality shows at
oh, it's
all.
not a reality show.
No?
It's drama, Yeah, it's not like,
Is it the one with Kristen Cavallari?
no, no, that's
No.
I think, isn't that that I think,
Oh, the OC. I know which one it is now.
yeah, it's a drama. It's like a teen drama. Um,
Yeah. I know which one it is now.
yeah, Adam Brody is in it, so, but yeah, Grind is one of my favorite movies. It's so funny. Not many people talk about it or whatever, so it's up there. But so anyway, to go back to this movie,
The movie.
I do that a lot. I do that a lot in a lot of my
Yeah.
stuff, like period.
See, I'm keeping up with you though, because I do the same thing.
Oh, you do the same thing? Well, good.
Yes.
I think I surround myself with people who have ADD, so it's okay.
Yeah, ADHD hits hard, man.
It does. But that's the thing. So yeah, my favorite, I think I'm trying to remember what my favorite scene. I mean, obviously, I like the random movie that she's seeing when she's high.
Mhm.
Like I think I like every scene when they're high because it was so funny and goofy. Like she was just when she had like the mushrooms and Jules was
Yeah.
seeing things, and then
The pineapples, the candles.
the pineapples, and then she did the cocaine, and that made her really like trip out and stuff.
Yeah,
And
that scene, like whenever she's like thinking she's on a movie set, like where the other actor comes in and she's like, "You're in my seat, get out of my seat." Da da da. That is honestly like an actor's worst nightmare is to have somebody who is like way up there, so much more famous and all this stuff than them, for them to come in to set and like, hey, you're in my spot, get up. To be treated that is an action, especially somebody who's just starting out to be, it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
nightmare for
exactly.
some people.
Well, I mean, they kept saying like, "Get out of my seat, get out of my
She
seat, get out of
couldn't.
the seat," whatever, and then she couldn't,
Mm.
and then they were like, "What are you doing?" and everything, and I'm like, "Oh God, that would freak me the fuck out." Like,
Yeah.
period. So it kind of gave me anxiety, but I was watching it going, "Oh my God, I love it because like." I don't think I've never tripped like that or anything, so I don't know, but I bet that's what it would be like, like
You know,
make you,
my brain works. I've just never needed drugs. I just tell everybody I'm a natural born crackhead.
there you go.
You
You
know,
you already are, on
yeah, right.
drugs.
I'm always on tripping.
You're high on life.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But, so yeah, so she's like freaking out and everything, and I was so laughing at that, just seeing that, and
Mhm.
like the anxiety, I felt it. Like I was like, I don't
Well,
want to like
exactly. Like I was saying, some from a new act, like coming from the view of a new actor for somebody like has that. You're in my seat, move. But then to have Jules being tripping and then her legitly she cannot get up and move.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, she can't get up and move because she's paralyzed. So even when she's tripping, she's paralyzed, and stuff, and she doesn't know what's going on. All she knows is Michael Bean is sitting at the end, and that's the guy from, he was in Terminator, and he was in Terminator, he was in Terminator, and he was in Aliens, and he was in tons of other stuff. And as I said before, he's Jennifer Blanc's husband, and they made a movie together with Danielle called The Victim. And I'm hoping to do that for next year's 31 Days of Indie Horror. But it was it's a lot of the same cast, honestly. So I feel like they did The Victim And then they were like, "Hey, do you want to be in Danielle's movie?" You know? And they were all like, "Sure." And they had a lot of them had bigger parts than they did in The Victim, you know? So it was just neat. It was like, I mean,
Yeah,
I like this. I like when there's sort of like a film family that get together and keep making movies together
yeah.
because you don't really see it as much anymore, you
You
know?
really don't, and then that's one of the one of the many things that I love about being in the indie film industry. It's just
Yeah.
like I work for several production companies, and each one of them we're our own little family. Like we still, we still do things together. We still, phone calls. We're still working on like reoccurring projects. To just, it's just wonderful.
Exactly. And that's great. Like, I love when you basically have a film family. So
Hmm.
you go out, you make the movies, you do them all together, but then you as floating to one to the other, now you have like three or four film families who
Oh yeah,
constantly make movies and then they go off and I think that's wonderful. I would love to see even more of that. Unfortunately, I guess there's just a lot of ego in the indie industry and stuff, so a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to do their own, whatever. I would love to see more of it if I can.
I
Um,
think I think there would just be a lot more success if people would get rid of the ego. Drop the ego. Yeah,
it's
you may be good. You may have this. It may be easier for you to get funding, but you know what? Get rid of the ego.
mm-hmm. Well,
This
and
is
that's the scary thing is like that they don't. I feel like a lot of the ego isn't needed,
mm-mm,
because the problem, like, you know, um, after a while in the indie industry, people find that out. People
mm-hmm.
hear, there's word of mouth. And if somebody sounds like, "Oh man, I'm this great, fantastic filmmaker, blah blah blah," then somebody's gonna say, "Oh, that person's so full of himself, don't work with them." You know. And there's a few, but I don't say
Yeah,
publicly,
yeah.
like
I've come across a few that were like building themselves up and building themselves up and building themselves up. So I was like, I finally started asking them a couple of questions, and they had no idea what I was talking about. They couldn't. It was just like, yeah, dude, you go your way and I'll go mine.
there you go. That's what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what?
I was just gonna say, yeah, just tell me, it was nice meeting you, but we won't be working together.
Definitely. Um, so yeah, would you have wanted to work on this film? Would you have had a fun time playing any of
Dude,
the roles?
any of them, even Melanie.
Even Melanie?
Even Mel. Just
It
see,
it
that's the
would be
thing.
hard because that is a hard character, and it's funny
Yeah,
that Danielle chose chose Jennifer because they're close, really close friends, I think, to play that role because it's such a hard role to like,
yeah.
and
Those roles. Yeah, those characters where that nobody's gonna like are typically the hardest roles to play.
right because I mean, generally speaking, if like it's just difficult because if you do it a certain way, it won't look like it will look like you're acting instead of
Mm-hmm.
actually acting, And so I think Jennifer did a fantastic job of just making this character so unlikable that you're just like, I kind of hope like she gets it. And then when she's like, no, 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 I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody else is doing it, and
Yeah,
you're the one who's, right? And
somebody's not a team player.
right. And everybody else is doing like I just
But
thought
yeah,
it's
I would have definitely had a blast on this set. Like no matter what side of the camera I was on,
right.
just
It
because.
looked like they were having fun,
Oh
period.
yeah.
And that's a sign of a good movie when it looks like everybody's having fun playing their roles,
Mhm.
Forgot what movie it was. We did a movie and and I think Paul was like telling me like he didn't like I thought he would hate the movie or whatever. And then he watched it and he said, everybody enjoyed playing the role, right?
Mhm.
And enjoyed their stuff. It was a Western we watched. and everybody just had a fun time with it. And I was, and that's what we like when people look like they're enjoying themselves, doing the roles that they're playing. And that's exactly what all of these people look like. They look like they were having a blast. So I had written earlier on Facebook that AJ Bowen is an underrated actor. And I really
Yes.
truly believe that. I think he has been in so many movies that I feel like he should definitely get more credit than he gets. And get more role. I feel like he should be like Hollywood. Like he should be up there doing American Horror Story and stuff like that. And I don't know if that's his choice not to, could be. But I loved him. So, and I loved him in this. Did a really great job. I loved him in everything that I've seen him in. He was in Your Next. He was great in that. If you ever seen that movie, have you seen that one?
I think so.
Yeah, it's basically a home invasion movie, but the chick in it knows survival instincts, so she's able to start taking out all the people like invading the home and everything.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
They wear like masks, but they wear like
Yeah.
pig masks and other animal masks and
Is
stuff.
that the one where no, the one I'm thinking of is where it was like the guy and the girl were in like the house by themselves or a cabin or somewhere, and then
Oh, are you
yeah,
thinking
that's the one
like
that,
are you thinking like The Strangers or
yeah,
something?
that was the one I was thinking of. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
There's
don't know.
Strangers and Your Next is I think better,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, I'll watch that one too because I don't know if I've seen it or not.
It's really good. I own the Blu-ray of it. I love that movie. I love the director of it's Adam Wingard, who did the Blair Witch remake or sequel or whatever you want to call it. He also did Kong versus Godzilla, you know which is this big Hollywood movie, thing, and which I actually really liked. It's not just because he directed it, but and I've been a fan of his since, for a long time,
Yeah.
but because I just legit like enjoyed it, because I wasn't sure how it was gonna come out, like sometimes indie directors, you know, get the big budget and they're not able to fully do it the way, Hollywood would. But I was like, damn, he needs more, And I
Yeah.
think he was up to doing like Thundercats, which pisses me off that it hasn't been made yet. I'm like, get that freaking movie made.
Yeah, that's been in talks for a bit.
Yeah, but then they were talking about him and the writer of Your Next, being the writer and director of Thundercats, I think. So it's
How
just
would they cast Thundercats though? I mean,
I mean, you'd have to find people who have like the similar voices to the cartoons, but uh they obviously it would be CGI faces
uh,
and stuff, which very easy to do these days. Just
oh
don't
yeah,
do it like cats. No, like cats.
I never watched it.
Yeah,
I know I didn't watch that
I've
one.
seen clips and I've seen some and don't no interest.
Yeah,
No interest in seeing that, but that looked terrible. So none of that. But if they could do it, a little better than that. What else? So yeah, I think AJ Bowen was great. There was a whole cast. The other guys I wasn't familiar with, the other two guys. However, I did look them up and I saw how versatile their, careers were and how, awesome they are. So I can see why they got cast too. And I don't think they auditioned anybody. I think everybody was a friend, basically people who, and I could be wrong, they could have auditioned, but I think that everybody was a friend and it was friend or family because some of the Lobits, so Alyssa's family have a part like they produced it and did stuff. So I think that it was almost like family and friend affair, and
it's like those production companies, the small ones that I work for. That's the way it is, man. Once you get in, you're in. You're one of them. I mean,
yeah, and the fact I love that. Like I love movies where the uh cast and crew are, family and stuff, like one of my favorite uh indie directors who only made two movies so far, I think. She might have made three, but I only know two. Is Amber Benson, who was Tara on was it Buffy, you know. She was Willow's girlfriend in Buffy, and she made two movies, Chance and Lunatics, Lovers and Liars. And Lunatics, Lovers and Liars is fun, and so is Chance. They're both really good comedies, you know. So if those are harder to find, I think you might be able to find Chance on YouTube for free. Lunatics, Lovers and Liars had to actually buy from like eBay, you know, to get, but well worth it, you know, in my opinion, because you know, I like getting out of print stuff that's hard to find, so I own it, you know, and
Yeah,
everything. Um, but anyway, yeah, so there's this movie being Danielle's feature length, you know, debut. I wish it had that prank movie on as short film as an extra, but it didn't on the DVD. Maybe they do like a new Blu-ray or special edition or something. Maybe they'll put it on there. That
well,
would be cool. Or
I
not.
just know, I just know Danielle did a fantastic job with this.
Yeah, she definitely did. And so did everybody else.
Mhm.
It was just a such a fun movie. And I'm glad you liked it, you know.
I loved it. Like I said, to be a Bernadette in today's world.
Well, you know, and it's still, like I said, it's a Me Too movie before Me Too.
Yep.
And now people could watch it and be like, no, I dig this, you know, this, but people, you know what, nowadays people call this woke or something, and I'd be like, no, no.
This I don't necessarily see this one as being woke. I just
I think people
it's
just throw that word around when it's female driven instead of like, you know, when it changes genders and flips it over
mhm,
instead of really talking about what that word really means, you know.
right. Well,
And
yeah, it's like this. It's like there's so many roles that it's like all the great slashers are always men. I'm like, you guys really have no idea what a female is capable of doing.
that's true. And I love, you know, writing female serial killers
Mhm.
and stuff and things like that
Yeah,
because like a guy is very like I don't know, most
most people expect slashers and serial killers in movies to be men.
right. So then when you see a female you know, doing it or whatever, like, you know, obviously we've had Jason's mom in the first Friday the 13th, spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen Friday the 13th, but yeah, it's not Jason, it's his mom, you
Hmm.
know. If you've seen Scream, then you should know that too anyway. Um, and then what is it? We've had Carrie, you know. She's not
But
slasher, but
no, well, even then, I don't view her as. I mean, look at the torment and torture that those people put her through.
but look at,
Or
well,
they
I would say
deserve
that
what
about
they
Bernadette, but
got. She
Bernadette didn't
went.
get any torture. She didn't
No, no, not at all. She was just like whenever Adam raped Lily, that was her final straw. She was done with these people.
mhm,
She was going to teach them a lesson and move out of town.
yep.
But with Carrie, Carrie had been abused by her nut job mom. I mean, tortured and bullied her entire life. And once she discovered her powers and they pushed her to her brink, she just burned them all down with it and herself too.
What did you think of the sort of end like the after credits? I told you to watch the after credit. You saw that, right?
It didn't, it just stopped playing.
It's not planned?
Mhm. Yeah, I
Okay.
got through the movie and then the final scene, like to where she's at the table,
Yeah.
and then it just stopped. It,
Oh, oh,
well, it did. It gave the credits about the cast members and all that, but it didn't show anything extra.
dang. Okay, so there is an extra scene and it's at a diner or something, it's like a restaurant, and somebody comes to the I think I wasn't sure because the girl did not look like Bernadette and everything, and she might have changed her hair color or something, but the point was there's a new person that's going to be doing a 80s style murder mystery and is
Nice.
set up for a sequel potentially, I guess, which I don't think we'll get, sadly, because this is my problem with a lot of indie films is if you don't already set up for like a trilogy, you're most likely not getting a sequel to your movie, especially if your movie costs like a lot of money, say it costs $500,000 or something. Generally you won't get a sequel because you're not going to get that money back, and then why are they going to spend money on a sequel? Now, if you make a movie for like Wild Eye releasing or something, they generally do sequels because it's not that much to make, to make the next one or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, this one
So
I think set up that it could have possibly been more because Bernadette was still alive.
Bernadette was still alive, and
So I
obviously she
mean,
was
and
gonna kill
Lily walked
everybody.
right, and then Lily walks out. So there are two people that could have easily gone on the second one.
Right. Or it could have continued with, you know, coming back to that table, and watching what happens after that. That could be the
Mhm.
sequel. But either way, I'll list a little bit, and or I do not think we're working on another one. They just kind of moved on. And I know that Danielle Harris has a movie called Sequel. So that's interesting. But that's her next project. It's called Sequel.
Cool.
So I don't know what it's about. I think it's in like development. There's no word on the what it's about, but I do know like that's going to be her second movie, and it's driving me nuts because I'm like I want it now, get it done. Um, but I tweeted at her saying really liked I love her as a director. She needs to do more. So hopefully she does, but um, she's busy acting, busy being a mom, you know. Just busy. So going to conventions, and she runs a podcast with Scout Taylor Compton. So they both do
Really?
a podcast together.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, she's really sweet. I talked to her about her podcast, said I loved her podcast and stuff. So she's just really, like I said, she's a down to earth, nice girl who will very, very much be fan friendly, when fans come up and chat with her and everything.
Now, seeing
So,
that's like one of my favorite things is like seeing, like, I actually got to witness some of it this weekend with one of the actors that we were promoting one of our films, is just to, when they're interacting with the fans and everything, like, I'll just tell you a story. And this one, like, I'm like doing my best not to cry when I'm telling this story. Uh, we walked around the corner, like, because we were just like checking out the scene, and we walked, the family was coming around the corner. Anyhow, they were we were talking to them, and then we told them like we were there with the movie company and we were there promoting our movie, and they were like, oh, they were all excited and everything because it was just like they have never got to experience that. And then we told them what character or what movie it was, and then I pointed at the guy and I'm like, yeah, this is the newest Jason Voorhees. And uh and the guy would looked at me and he looked at James, James Stokes, and he was like, oh my god, really? And the dude was so like so emotional that he just like almost fell to his knees on, all the way down. It was just like
oh,
crying because, just not getting to ever experience that, and just randomly walking around the corner meeting Jason Voorhees, like it meant the world to him. He was crying, and James has been so sweet, and just him seeing a celebrity interact with fans like that is just like so wonderful, and it's
mhm.
so humbling.
Definitely. That's amazing.
Mm.
I know, you hear stories about people who aren't very fan friendly, and then you hear great stories about people like Danielle.
Mhm.
I've never heard a bad thing about Danielle. She's just super sweet, and it really doesn't take that much for somebody, to just always be polite to people, period at these conventions and stuff. No matter how mean and nasty the other people are on the other side, just to be like, you know what, that's them, but we're gonna make everybody realize because, it's gotta be hard, doing that every, especially at the conventions every weekend, or whatever, and just seeing all these different people and whatnot. But yeah, so um this will be out. I'll probably when this comes out, I'll probably be heading back from Lexington, Kentucky. I'm shooting or not shooting. I'm going to a horror convention, the Scarefest there, so I'm really excited about that. I was
Isn't
hoping
that
to
like
meet.
this? That's this month sometime, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in October, yeah. But so yeah, so when this comes out in October, October 24th, that'll be out, or that I will probably be coming back from that or back, either one. Which I can't wait. I can't wait to go there. I'm gonna watch this later, and either or I'll be really upset that maybe I'm pretty sure I'll have a good time. Period, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
So I know. And that will have that's got some really big people like Robert England's gonna be there and you
Yeah,
know,
I heard.
you should come out,
I
come.
I'm booked every weekend in October.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like I come home. I leave on Thursday and I come home on Sunday, sometimes Monday, and it's going to be like that every weekend in October.
Well, that's good that you're booked.
Hmm.
Just sucks that you can't come out to the
Yeah,
Scarefest.
October is
Uh,
my favorite month, so I love Halloween, and I'm not getting to do any of that this year.
so you like to always do stuff around then. Okay.
Yeah.
My plan is to do something next year, so we'll see,
Well, I was working on
something big.
Halloween last year too,
There
for
you
the entire
go.
month of October. Filmed 2 feature films in October.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah,
So there,
I was behind the camera for both of those. And then
nice.
the second was 40 Sided Beast was the first one. I was the script and continuity, and then the second one was locked in. I went in as a PA, and ended up by the second day was bumped up to second AD, and stepped in and got to step into a row with or a scene with Robert Mukes. Like I got to have a scene with
Nice.
him. Yeah.
He's from was it House of a Thousand Corpses, if I'm correct, right?
Rufus. Yeah, he's Rufus.
Jeez.
Devil's Rejects. Yeah.
Or Devil's Rejects. Okay.
Mhm.
That my bad. Yeah. I knew it was Rob Zombie. I knew it was one of those. I'm really terrible at that. But yeah, he was Rufus and Devil's Rejects. He's actually chatted with me. We've talked, but nothing's yeah. Obviously I
Yeah.
don't have anything yet for him. I don't have anything for a big bulky guy like him or James yet,
Yeah. Well,
just
well, it's funny because like I knew that he was going to be there, and that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to work with Chase and Sam, but I was like, oh, dude, Rufus is in it, Robert Mukes is in it, and I absolutely love Amber Dawn Fox. So I was like, I managed to let him, talk him into letting me be a PA, and I'd already met Amber and I'd already met Nalia, and then like I was walking and I walked by Robert Mukes and I was just like,
yeah, he's somebody
and
you can truly look up to.
right. I was we did a selfie. I was standing on a step stool. He's still like this over me. Like he had to like scoot down just to be able.
Oh my God.
And I'm
That's
not
funny.
yeah, and I'm not terribly short, but it was just like he was like massively so much taller than me.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I don't know.
He
He's got to be. I think he's even taller than Kane. You
he's
know.
6'8" or 6'10".
Yeah. So he's definitely. I think
Mhm.
Kane was like 6'5", maybe 6'4", something like that. So yeah, he's even taller than Kane. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, we could be talking about how many awesome Jason guys we've met, or whatever, and that'll probably go along, for a while. So we'll basically try to end it here. But I just want to say thank
Yeah.
you so
Well,
much
thank you
for
for having
this.
me on,
Yeah, definitely.
and thank you for everything else.
Yeah, for sure. We've it's like I love doing these like little indie reviews
Mhm.
because I feel like a lot of times when people are doing the 31 days of Halloween or whatever that they do, they generally do like the mainstream stuff, or whatever, like whatever's new in the mainstream and stuff like that. And I don't want to do that. Like I want to concentrate on indie stuff because I feel like, well, A, this is Indie Film Cafe, but because it doesn't get like these are the movies that don't get talked about as much.
Right.
Among friends needs to be shared. People need to know about it and stuff. And
Right, definitely. I mean, it was like it kept my attention through the whole thing, and that's hard to do. It was hard to
right.
do.
No, I agree. Apparently it didn't catch my attention all the way through because I missed a couple things, but
Well,
I
there
don't
was
know.
some like like since I was watching it on my computer, there was like something scenes. I'm like, wait, did I just see that? Did I just hear that? So I would rewind it back a little bit, and I'm like, oh,
Were there a lot of commercials?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the bummer about it. That's why the main reason I wanted to watch it on the DVD is just because just skip the commercials, because that's just sometimes like, if it's we watched Lamageddon.
Lawmageddon.
Yeah, it's for What the Fuck Friday, and Lamageddon is ridiculous. But me and my friend were watching it in when I was in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas on my way home uh from LA to go back home to Virginia. I we watched it and I was just like it kept stopping a little bit, like the buffering and stuff. And so if that was happening, then there were commercials. It took us like literally like 3 hours to watch an hour and something minute movie, Like it
Wow.
wasn't that long, but it
So,
took us way too long to watch it.
so Lawmageddon, is it ranked like right up there with Sharknado, like in
It's
ridiculousness?
it's silly. It's definitely a what the fuck kind of movie. It doesn't we you look at it, you're like, what in the world am I watching? Like it's just ridiculous. But the difference between a movie like that and a movie like Barn of the Blood Llama, which is also a llama movie.
I haven't seen
Um,
that one either.
yeah, that one's harder to find. You actually have to buy it from the guy who made it and stuff. But we watched that for the first season of Indie Film Cafe on our podcast. And that like something like that where they don't know what they're doing and
Mm.
stuff, and they're making a terrible movie and sort of by accident, you know? Or like Birdemic, the first Birdemic, things like that. The Room, they didn't know what they're doing. They made a terrible movie, kind of thing.
But
Th-
yeah, but yeah, I'm
Then
sure they.
Sharknado, they know what they're doing.
It was still. I was just like,
Um,
no.
feel like I'm gonna get criticized for talking about everything else but Among Friends. So
Nah, you're fine. I talk a lot.
no, I talk a lot too. So you're, like
I
that's
could.
that's
I
usually
have
a
like
problem then if two people are
I have
doing
like
that.
five or six. I'm talking about 5 or 6 different subjects, and I'm bouncing from the last one to the first one to the third one without it.
That's
Without
always
missing a
me
beat.
bouncing from one thing to another anyway. I get it. So anyway, yeah, so Llamageddon kind of know what they're doing. They knew they were making a crappy movie on purpose, and sometimes that's not good because then, it's not fun to watch, because then you're like, yeah, you know, like they're just trying to make you laugh. But that movie worked, and that I actually laughed a lot. So I would recommend Llamageddon. I would also recommend Barn of the Blood Llama because it was one of the movies that I hated, because it was so bad. But like some people actually like that, like
No,
so
I have
bad.
a few of those that I can never unsee. I hated them.
Yeah. But
Like I
I would
legit
always make
hated
other
them.
people want to watch it because I hated it. Hmm.
No, I won't even put people through that torture. Like I hate it that bad.
You're too nice. You got to be careful coming on our show because if Paul gives you something, oh God,
Oh man, I'll
just watch
drop the
out.
name of the movie if you want.
What was that movie?
Solomon Brothers.
I feel like I seen
It's
that.
absolutely horrible.
Oh,
I
the
hate
Brothers
it.
Solomon.
Yes, yes. I hate that movie.
This movie right. Oh, where did I go? Okay, I
It's
went right
got
here.
Will. Yes.
that movie.
Yes.
I just picked this up today. I just saw it. I had no idea
I know that there's a
anything about it.
lot of my
So
friends that have seen it like it, but I couldn't.
it's Bob Odenkirk too directed it. Wow. Kristen Wiig, That's why I wanted it because Will Arnett and Will Forte. Like, how? Yeah. All
That
right.
movie sounds like another
It,
thing
it's
we need to do.
I know because I might like it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
have two opposing opinions of it.
I love that. I love Siskel and Ebert type stuff. Like I
Yeah.
love when I like something somebody else doesn't. And a lot of people are like, why would you want to watch something that somebody else didn't like? And I'm like, because like having different opinions is what makes like the world so great, you
Right,
know?
and I never like when I watch a movie, I don't ever pay attention to what the reviews are or any of the commentary about the movie. I just watch it
Hmm.
because there's been some movies that got horrible reviews that I absolutely loved.
So now I gotta watch that and then we gotta do a review of it at some point. I don't know what
Sounds
for,
like a
but
plan.
we'll do it. So
Sounds like a plan, man.
thank you so much, Amielynn. This is just
Thank you for having
awesome.
me.
I I I adore having you. We're gonna have you back, of course. And thank you guys for checking this out. Tomorrow there'll be a new episode. Not sure what it is yet. I don't want to tell you guys anyway. It's always more fun when it's a secret. So until then, everybody, have a good one. Bye.